How's it going, APC Nation? Welcome back to a brand new video. Sorry for not uploading as much as I do. This video, we're going to look at how successful is the Chum Bucket, or why I think the Chum Bucket is successful. We'll look at the facts. In the show, yes, the Chum Bucket doesn't look successful. It looks like a mess. It's rusted. The chum is inedible and stuff like that. But if you look at the recent seasons, if anyone has watched any of the recent seasons of SpongeBob, this current season, season 14, Plankton's parents were introduced, and Plankton's parents opened up the Spud Bucket. Everyone ate at the Spud Bucket until Plankton, or Sheldon Plankton, he worked there. Then no one ate at the Spud Bucket because they don't like Plankton's cooking. Well, for a restaurant to be open, it has to have customers. And there's been a few episodes in SpongeBob. The one episode where Patrick became the marketing department and worked for Plankton, the Chum is Fun episode. Yes, people still hated it because Plankton cooked it, because all the scenes of the Chum is Fun episode is in the morning. If you know where I'm going with this theory, you're going to know what I'm going to say next. So, and then there was another episode where Squidward became the chef at the Chum Bucket, and he cooked the food. Guess what? People started eating there. There's one episode where he had one customer, but that was Karen paid him, but they have money. Who controls the money at the Chum Bucket? Plankton's wife. Karen controls all the financial decisions of the Chum Bucket. That's how Plankton gets his money to do his evil schemes. He doesn't have to try to steal the Krabby Patty secret recipe because he just doesn't remember that he helped write the recipe. In one of the episodes, they had a flashback, and Plankton was the one him and Krabs were the one who wrote it together. And during their fight, he only got one half of the recipe. That was Chum. So Chum is in the Krabby Patty. That's the thing. But they just mass produce them because Mr. Krabs somehow mass produces them himself because they are frozen. But the Chum Bucket has to be successful to stay open. I think at nighttime when Plankton is sleeping, because Karen has multiple forms. There's multiple forms of Karen. She can transform her consciousness, her AI consciousness, into the giant screen computer inside the Chum Bucket, and then the one on wheels, because she's programmed into both. Plankton programmed her into both. So, into all computers in the Chum Bucket. That's why she is on every single electronic computer screen in the Chum Bucket. The giant one, the one on wheels, stuff like that. They really don't use the giant one as much. But at nighttime, because we don't have a time when they're open or closed. We don't know when the Chum Bucket opens or closed. There's been a few episodes where the Chum Bucket did have a time, and that was the 24-hour episode, where the Chum Bucket opened 24 hours a day. And then Mr. Krabs went to 24 hours a day. He only did that to break SpongeBob. But there's only been a few episodes where a time has been mentioned where the Krusty Krab and the Chum Bucket is open. One of the episodes where it was a whole training montage, how you work at the Krusty Krab and stuff like that, and Mr. Krabs' backstory and stuff like that. Some of his backstory, not all of it, but some of it. And it is not an overnight success. They said it's not an overnight success because it closes at 6 p.m. So it opens from sometime in the morning into 6 p.m. So if you look at most restaurants that are open into 6 p.m., they're usually open around 9 in the morning. They're usually open around 9 in the morning or 8 in the morning to 6 p.m. So that is almost 12 hours a day. A little less than that, but so it's usually open in the morning. There's been a time where Squidward mentioned when they were open at 5, up until 5. He said 5 o'clock. No, 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock closing time. There's been a few episodes where, during the time where Mr. Krabs mentioned workers' compensation, that you can, if you get hurt at work, you get compensation and you get to sit at home. They have different schedules. But the thing is, they usually work, SpongeBob and Squidward usually work the same shift. So, how's me saying this about the Krusty Krab, about the Krusty Krab making the Chum Bucket successful? Well, the Chum Bucket has to be open probably around the same time, because you never see them open at night. So, it's usually open in the morning, and we know Squidward and SpongeBob have different shifts, a few minutes apart. And Squidward, which he doesn't have seniority anymore, has seniority, but he's quit multiple times, so that seniority has gone away. And SpongeBob's been fired multiple times, or the one time he did quit, that seniority went away. So they're pretty much at the same level now of employment for Mr. Krabs. So when is the Chum Bucket open? Well, the Krusty Krab closes at 6 p.m. They change that time to 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. for 12 hours during, after the 24-hour episode. If we go off that logic, and the Krusty Krab has not closed since that, so the Krusty Krab will open at 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's the same for the Chum Bucket, but Plankton has no employees, so there's no one who works there, because people think he doesn't eat there. So the Chum Bucket has to probably open around the same time or an hour before. It is probably open around the same time so he can stay in competition with Mr. Krabs. Well, if it's open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., that's 12 hours. Nobody eats there for 12 hours. Well, think about it. It looks like a mess. The Chum Bucket is disgusting, but only people never eat chum when Plankton cooks it. Nobody has eaten at the Chum Bucket when Plankton cooks it. When Patrick worked there, not during the Fry Cook games, but during the Chum's Fun episode, guess what? People ate there. Because of the slogan, and you can see in the background that he was a dishwasher. So he was washing dishes, so he probably cooked the food as well, because Plankton did the orders. It was still disgusting, because, he probably didn't cook it. But but when Squidward worked there, it started cooking the chum, and made it a success. So what happens after Chum Bucket closes? Well, Karen, this is my theory, how the Chum Bucket is successful, how Plankton has money, why the Chum Bucket is not closed permanently, and why. Because first of all, the health inspector only shows up in the morning, so only sees Plankton cooking the chum, tastes Plankton's cooking. Second of all, no one eats there in the morning because the Krusty Krab is open. So, what the Chum Bucket needs to do is open at night. And what Plankton needs to do is let Karen cook the chum, because that's what I think is going on. Because the Chum Bucket is a success at nighttime because people know that that Plankton is asleep, and that Karen's cooking the chum, and the chum is getting cooked. There's no way they don't have money to cook the chum. Don't have money to do things and invent things and stuff like that. With Plankton being a scientist, there's no way that he doesn't have money, because Karen does all the financial planning and all the financial stuff because she's a computer. She knows how to keep a good financial record and stuff like that. So I think at nighttime, and we have seen Karen with hands. She has hands on the wheel body of hers. So, the Chum Bucket is a success because I think Karen, what she does at night, is opens the Chum Bucket at night for the nighttime crowd because people are going to work or they're getting off of work and they want something to eat. Well, there's only a few restaurants in Bikini Bottom that we've seen. We've seen a noodle restaurant, a hot dog restaurant, a pizza restaurant, the fancy restaurant, and that's pretty much it. And then the Krusty Krab and the, Chum Bucket. Not a lot of places have, burgers and stuff like that. So, I think that at nighttime, she cleans up the Chum Bucket, she takes all the cobwebs, all the disgusting stuff out, and makes it a success and cooks the chum and just cooks the chum because they have a grill. All she does is put the chum on the grill, put it in the buckets, and then she cooks the chum. And she cleans up the grill and cooks the chum and then sells it. And people know Plankton is asleep, so they eat it. She reopens the Chum Bucket. She doesn't have to sleep. She pretends to sleep. She doesn't have to sleep at all. So she gets up and she cooks the chum and opens the Chum Bucket and makes money. She then dirties the Chum Bucket back up when Plankton wakes up, so he thinks it's a failure. She's manipulating him to think it's a failure, so she has all the money, so he can continue to do, well, not manipulating him, but continue to do his dream of being an evil scientist. She knows that he doesn't want to run the Chum Bucket because he went to college for evil science. The only reason he opened the Chum Bucket because his former friend, Mr. Eugene Krabs, opened a restaurant. But he knows he wants to do science stuff. They even have a card that says Chum Bucket Labs. So, she opens the Chum Bucket at night and makes it a success. I think the Chum Bucket is a successful restaurant because Karen does that. She does all the cooking, she does all the cleaning. She reopens it at night. I think people do eat at the Chum Bucket. They just don't tell Mr. Krabs to eat at the Chum Bucket. I think the Chum Bucket is probably the second most successful restaurant in Bikini Bottom because it has no competition. There's no competition for Mr. Krabs. There's no competition at night. I think that's what happens, and that's my theory. Why the Chum Bucket is successful is that Karen opens it up and cooks it, and that's why they're not shut down. Because in restaurant terms, they'll be shut down by now after a month, maybe 2 weeks of not having any customers. Well, if you guys enjoyed this video, if you did, press your button, press the like button, press the red shiny subscribe button, press the bell to stay notified every time I upload a video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.